So my name is Misha Benoliel. I am a co-founder and CEO of a company called Open Garden, and we launched this messaging app called FireChat that works even when you don't have internet access, and that also provides a complete secure way to communicate, which is, I think, very important for reporters or for extreme situations like disaster recovery situations. And we have more and more reporters or news organizations that use our application to gather information to know what's happening worldwide. And also we invite reporters and news organizations to use FireChat as a way to communicate securely. And I'm very super happy to be here tonight to present at HacksHacker. I think it's a fantastic event, and I hope to be back soon in London to tell you more about the progress of FireChat. Thank you.
I guess your users are kind of donating the infrastructure for this app, which seems very democratic, but do you actually maintain central control of this network, and could you switch it off if you wanted to, for example?
It's a very good question. The way it is built is the essence of this is we want it to be able to work when it's off the grid. So when it's off the grid, I mean, there's very little thing you can do. When it's connected to the internet and to a server, yes, we can do things. So like, for example, when we launched FireChat, we enabled at the beginning everyone to be able to post images in public chat rooms. It was a terrible idea. And you can imagine why. And we thought Apple was going to give us a push and to feature the app at the launch. And when we saw these pictures the day of the launch, we said, wow, hell, how are we going to do? But because it was connected to the server on the main chat room and it's public, so we were able to turn off the broadcast of the images, and went pretty well.
Got a question there.
Hi, Greg. I'm I'm a freelance programmer. I just wanted to know how anonymous is communication in FireChat. Obviously, that's something that probably is used in situations where people might be not necessarily wanting to be monitored, maybe in protest situations in various countries.
So it's a very good question. So today it works like Twitter. You register the first time when you install the app, and you can remain anonymous, or you can just declare your identity and tell who you are really. When it comes to the messages and the communications you have, they're completely encrypted. We don't even know what people are saying on this network. So and especially when messages never go to the internet, but just go through the mesh, there is like probably impossible for anyone to track the conversations that are happening on this network.
So a little bit about me. I was a radio producer, and I joined BBC Trending about a year ago. If you don't know what BBC Trending is, that's fine, we'll forgive you. But basically, it's the bit of the BBC that looks at what's trending on social media. So we find stories that are being shared in places that perhaps people are not accessing through regular media, and we share that and sort of amplify that for other people. So big trends like Bring Back Our Girls, obviously, deaths, big global events, but also small ones. So strange trends like why the word spinach might be trending in Myanmar and why that's important to you. It's also a very multi-platform team. So we have a blog, we make videos, we have a radio program, which is what I was working on, and also big concentration on social media and pushing our content through social media. So trying to innovate a little bit on platforms like Vine and Snapchat. Now Trending sits under a banner which is Digital Current Affairs, which is a new banner in the BBC, and it's growing. So it started by looking really at what digital current affairs can offer for places like Trending. So where can we reach audiences that are not being reached just regularly by the BBC. We're also looking at what the current affairs offering for BBC Three is going to look like when that goes exclusively online in 2016. We've also started recently working closely with other teams in the BBC. So, for example, Panorama, who have been out following the routes of migrants across Europe. Our senior engagement producer, Ravin Sampat, who's a total hero, he went on the road for a couple of weeks with John Sweeney, the presenter, and Andy Bell, the producer, as they made this. And he basically created, alongside, a Snapchat documentary. So he was capturing what John Sweeney was doing, interviews, actuality, sharing that on Snapchat, and just sort of BBC panorama. And lots of people were engaging with that. That got picked up and talked about quite a lot. And they're actually going to create a sort of 8-9 minute documentary out of that content for to share online. I think it's going on BBC News's YouTube and Facebook page. And also something that will make the video journalists amongst you shudder, because it was all shot vertically. The whole video is going to be a vertical video. So do have a look out for that. I think that'll be quite interesting to see how that works, especially on mobile platforms. So I am currently working under this Digital Current Affairs banner on a project called Times2, and that's a collaboration with, like Jeremy said, ABC in the States. So it's two broadcasters coming together to explore how current affairs can be delivered in a digital space. It was just quite quickly set up. The idea was, let's get going, let's just try an experiment here and see how it evolves. So the first clip will give you a little bit of an idea of what Times2 is about.
We're told there are 250 people squeezed down here.
If you wait 36 hours, half the boat will be dead. It's like a ticking time bomb.
I love you! We are the generation!
Our aim is basically to make it easier for human rights activists, journalists, humanitarians to work safely. And so we've just built an app that will hopefully do just that. The last couple of years have actually been some of the worst on record for their harassment. We look no further than the Al Jazeera journalists in Egypt for a case in point. So my co-founder, Rory, here and I have spent the last 10 years or so working in the human rights field, and the biggest challenge out of many that we came across was always security. Turns out security is hard. There's lots of amazing tools out there, but it is hard to know what tools to use when. It is hard to use many of those tools, and it's hard to get information on physical security as well. It's doubly hard to do all those things when you're accessing the internet via your mobile, which a lot of our users and partners at the time were doing. So what we really needed basically was something that brought together physical and digital security advice in one place, all the tools and advice about them, and delivered it really simply and on mobile. So that's what we did. So this is Umbrella. If you've got a security problem, Umbrella will help you find the solution, basically. So anything from something like information security, so if you want to know how to protect your files, to maybe communication security, if you want to know, say, how to send a secure email, to something like operations. So that might be, you want to know how to conduct counter-surveillance, see if you're under surveillance yourself.